Ladies and gentlemen, it's over. WrestleMania Night 1 has ended, and it ended in one of the craziest ways I think you could ever end a WrestleMania show. Seth Rollins is a Paul Heyman guy. He turned on CM Punk. He turned on Roman Reigns. He sold his own soul to Rollins' cause. I wonder what's next, but welcome here to our WrestleMania 41 review. Brother, it's good to see all of you. We are live right now on YouTube and Twitch, so the chat's going to chat along with us. But I have to say, right out of the gate, going into that main event, I was trying to be as positive as I could. I was trying to be in a good headspace for it, but it was a long night. We had some good moments, don't get me wrong. We didn't have an amazing WrestleMania, but it's easy to say this, that main event absolutely saved WrestleMania 41 Night 1. Okay, where do we begin? Where do we start? Let's start at the very end. Okay, what did we witness? We saw Paul Heyman legitimately take the chair that Roman Reigns had been hit in the back with so many times by Seth Rollins and give that chair to CM Punk. CM Punk then was looking to line up the chair shot to Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman hit CM Punk right in the nuts. Then, what did he do? He did the exact damn same thing to Roman Reigns right after that. Gave him the chair, hit him in the nuts, and then decided to give the chair finally to Seth Rollins. Rollins pins Roman Reigns after a chair shot to the back and a stomp, and here we are. This is what's best for business, apparently. This is what Rollins is all about right now. He knows that Roman couldn't win that match. He knew Punk couldn't win that match, and so he had to go deep into his playbook and figure out how is he going to escape with the win. The fact that it looked like that this was the plan all along, that Paul Heyman smiled. Rollins didn't even need to look at Paul Heyman. He wasn't shocked. He just handed his hand out, and a chair was put in his hand. It was the plan all along. And if you're Paul Heyman, you must love when a plan comes together. I'm at a loss for words for what this means for the future of WWE. But when it came to WrestleMania Night 1 here, we got off to a bit of a fun start but slow start, and it never really seemed to pick up. We started off the night with Jey Uso versus Gunther, and this was a moment that everybody wanted to see. People wanted to see Jey Uso yeeting with the world title, and it was just the right story to put the title on him. And this went exactly how we thought it would. It was a fine match. It was, I think fine is the best way to put it. It did the job, and at the end, it was Jey Uso who walked out with the win in the World Heavyweight Championship. But, in terms of in-ring quality, it felt like it was the common theme throughout WrestleMania Night 1. It was fine. It was maybe good, but it certainly wasn't great. The moment itself was great with Jey Uso walking out with the win and holding on to that world title, and especially hugging Jimmy Uso in the center of that ring right after that. Feel good moment, but it's not going to be a match that a lot of people truly remember. It will be a moment that a lot of people truly remember. And I think this is going to be the key part for Jey Uso's World Heavyweight title run, is establishing some really strong matches with him. Matches where the fans are truly invested in him. We need to build him up as a bit of an underdog champion. He still has a lot to prove. And if they're able to do that, if WWE is able to position Jey Uso in that type of role, then I think fans will be supportive of this World Heavyweight title reign. Not everybody's going to love Jey Uso going over at Mania because, well, let's face it, most people didn't really like him winning the Royal Rumble anyways, and it bled right into WrestleMania. But it was still one of those just feel-good moments seeing Jey Uso capture the World Heavyweight title. It just one word for you. Yeet. Congratulations, Jey Uso. It is well deserved. After that, we got into the tag team title match, which was the New Day versus the War Raiders. And okay, well, let's clear the elephant in the room right now. Not me wearing Hulk Hogan's costume, okay? It was a sub goal. It's not by choice. The elephant in the room is the TLC match that is going on SmackDown next Friday. The TLC match between Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa of DIY, the Motor City Machine Guns, and the Street Profits. A lot of people wanted that match to be at WrestleMania, and people were saying that the New Day versus War Raiders match didn't really fit the bill when you had that type of build for that tag team TLC match. And a lot of people were like, well, there's got to be a reason as to why the New Day versus War Raiders is on WrestleMania with not much of a build behind it. And a lot of people were thinking, myself included, that it was going to be Big E either costing the New Day the titles or a moment where Big E is there with the New Day. It was going to be something with Big E, but that didn't happen. What happened was we just got a tag match and the New Day stole the win. It felt very much like a Monday Night Raw match, and that's not an offense to either of them because I think both teams are great, but it just literally felt like it was something that could have been on Monday Night Raw, and honestly, not even a main event of Monday Night Raw. It was there, and a lot of people coming out of that match, it built up that frustration that was already there with the TLC match not being announced for WrestleMania and being pushed on to the next week for Friday Night SmackDown. I think if that TLC match hadn't been announced already, this match would be viewed in a bit of a different light. I know a lot of people wanted the tag match to go down there regardless, like the Street Profits versus Motor City Machine Guns. They're like, that should be on WrestleMania as well. But at least if we didn't have a TLC match, we wouldn't be thinking that we should have had a TLC match at WrestleMania instead of that tag title match. It's not the end of the world that it happened, and I'll get over it. But the common theme from here on in was that the win kind of got taken out of the sales, and the matches tried to recover, but the fans just weren't that into it for whatever reason. So going into Jade Cargill versus Naomi, it was the next match, and I got to give all the credit in the world to Naomi right here. Her new entrance was fire, her new gear was fire, and I love everything about Naomi right now. She's one of my favorite characters, I think, in the women's division. And I was hoping that she was maybe going to get this win over Jade Cargill. I know it was wishful thinking because Jade Cargill, let's face it, is an absolute star. She truly is. But this match, again, it was one of those where the fans just weren't super into it. And I think the fans, unfortunately, not being into it hurt the match from a perspective of us watching at home. And it just seemed to be the common theme throughout the night. The fans were either really tired from Stand and Deliver earlier in the day, or from all the Vegas festivities, or from the Hall of Fame last night, or SmackDown last night. I'm not exactly sure, but they did certainly sound a little tired, and that continued throughout the night. In fact, it really didn't feel like the crowd came alive until the main event. But regardless, Jade Cargill and Naomi, I feel like they put on a solid match. They were certainly picking up the momentum, and well, let's talk about Naomi and Jade Cargill with the finish right there, where Jade Cargill lifted Naomi up onto her shoulders and hit a brutal looking power bomb, only to lift her right back up into the Jaded, pins her 1, 2, 3, and Jade Cargill, just like that, walks out with the win. There's got to be more to this story, in my opinion. Like I was talking with Sancho West a little bit earlier while we were doing our predictions. And if you guys would like to check out our predictions, it'll be available over on my Twitter and my Instagram page, along with 23 other different creators for it. But while we were chatting about this, there was this idea of a triple threat match coming up between Naomi, Bianca, and potentially Jade Cargill for that women's title. I think coming out of WrestleMania right here, you have absolutely positioned Jade Cargill to be in a position that she could win a title. She seems like she's ready for it. But also, I don't think Naomi was hurt by this loss, and that was the key part for me. I think this will continue to fuel her character moving forward, and she should be able to push herself back up that card in no time. I'm really hoping, really truly hoping that we do get a triple threat between Bianca, Naomi, and Jade. If it's not for a title, that's fine. If it is, even better. Regardless, big win for Jade Cargill, and she walks out of WrestleMania looking like $1 million. But then we got my second favorite match of the night, and LA Knight and Jacob Fatu went out there and did exactly what I was hoping they were going to do. Put on a banger of a match and showcase exactly what Jacob Fatu is all about. I still had LA Knight walking out with the win when I was doing my predictions because I thought maybe Solo Sikoa was going to get involved. Maybe he was going to cost Jacob Fatu the match accidentally or on purpose, but neither happened. We saw Solo enter with Jacob Fatu, but left very, very shortly right after he entered, and then it was just right into the match. LA Knight, though, his entrance, by the way, looked sick. That car, the roll down of the window, he truly is a megastar, and I really hope he doesn't get lost in the shuffle now that he's lost the United States title, which, by the way, that's the result right there. Jacob Fatu beats LA Knight for the United States Championship. And it just, the crowd got into it because up to this point, you know, the fans were excited for Jey Uso. Then it kind of died down a little bit after that, and it took a bit of time for the fans to truly get back into it. They were hot for this match, especially the finish, and Jacob Fatu walking out with the title with the fans behind him. Like, it was a great match for what it was. I would have liked to see it maybe go another 5 minutes. I felt like we were just starting to pick up, and another 5-7 minutes could have easily been a main event style matchup. They really went out there and busted their ass. But again, it was just, there wasn't that extra little bit. I was hoping maybe if LA Knight had that big kick out, or if there was like some sort of run in or interference, or not even like you got to have interference all the time, but just something that would add another dynamic to that match. I think Solo being at ringside should have been a thing, because Solo being at ringside would have just added that extra idea. Is he going to turn? The moment he went away, it was like, okay, well, if we don't see him, then he's not going to turn, right? I think just adding that extra little dynamic to the ringside area would have been good to the match. But otherwise, very fun matchup between Jacob Fatu and LA Knight. Easily my second favorite match of the night. And congratulations to the new United States champion. We had El Grande Americano versus the other Rey, not Rey Mysterio, Rey Fenix. And I gotta say, right out of the gate, Rey Fenix getting a WrestleMania match is awesome this early into his run in WWE. And also the fact that Penta is going to get a WrestleMania match as well tomorrow night. It's really cool for the Lucha Bros, and I'm super happy that they're succeeding so far in WWE. I mean, succeeding, but I guess the terminology of succeeding depends on, you know, if you think that you have to win in order to succeed, because that's not what happened for Rey Fenix here tonight. El Grande Americano was welcomed with one of the craziest, funniest, wildest WrestleMania entrances I've ever seen. Mariachi band with the El Grande Americano mask. I can't do it. WWE is not being serious with this thing at all. They even announced he was from the Gulf of America, where they had to correct it on commentary right after that. It's just so ridiculous. Everything about this. He had the sepia filter over top of it. Everything about El Grande Americano is so over the top and so ridiculous. But it was so over the top, so ridiculous. And this is the type of things that WWE used to do back in the day, where like people, like let's say the Blue Blazer or whatever, people would get this type of gimmick thrown on them, and it would be almost like a burial. Like Shorty G happened at one point. The change of character wasn't going to elevate their star power. But in my opinion, I think everything about El Grande Americano has made sense along the way, and they have made a great story out of it. And the moment that it's revealed that it is Omos under the mask will be one of the craziest moments of all time. Like, it's so obvious that that's who's under there. And I can't believe how talented Omos has become since going over to Japan to work and learn all these different styles. He's incredible, and I just can't wait to see the day that it actually happens. But in the end, it was El Grande Americano who picked up the win. He loaded back up that mask of his with the steel plate. Rey Fenix booted him in the face. Looked like he might have broke his ankle in the process. And then before you knew it, Mr. Americano climbed up to the top rope, hit a flying headbutt, and that was it. El Grande Americano picks up the win at WrestleMania. And it's official. This legendary luchador is 1-0 at Mania. The next Undertaker, anyone? Now let's get into Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair, a matchup that I really wanted to see be great. It's not like it was bad. Look, it was a fight, right? Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton was a fight. And by the end of it, it certainly looked like a fight, because Tiffany Stratton had a busted lip. She had a torn up leg and a chipped tooth. Like, it was a war, man. There's no question about it. And not every match needs to be pretty. Not every match needs to be super smooth and super fluid, right? Like, if you look at El Grande Americano and Rey Fenix, or if you look at LA Knight and Jacob Fatu, there was a certain, like, smoothness to those matches, right? The moves just connected really well, and everything seemed to fall into place when they did the moves. This was the complete opposite. It was an ugly, ugly match. It looked closer to a real fight, and I don't know if it's because they don't have the chemistry in the ring, or if it's because they don't get along, and as a result, there's a little bit of sandbagging, there's a little bit of stiffness to it. It's just a lot more snug while they're working in that ring. I don't know what the case was, but this match itself, it's not like it was a horrible match, but I certainly didn't find myself overly invested in everything that was going on. I am, however, very happy that it was Tiffany Stratton walking out with the win, and it wasn't Charlotte Flair. It felt like, to me, going into this show, Charlotte Flair was winning. I had this vision in my mind that it was going to be Charlotte Flair winning here, and then we were going to build to the rematch at SummerSlam because we need lots of matches at SummerSlam this year. There's 2 nights this time, and I was thinking it was going to be Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton main event night 1. That's what I was thinking, but the fact that Tiffany got the win over Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania and it's a one and done is amazing to me, because I don't think we need to touch this feud again with a 10-foot pole anytime soon. I think you separate the two. If there's a draft coming up, yeah, get one of them off of there. I would even take like a swap of the brands completely. I would put Bianca, if she wins the title, over on SmackDown. I'd pull Tiffany Stratton, put her on Monday Night Raw. Just a thought right here. But we don't know if there's going to be a draft, so we'll deal with that in due time. In the end, though, Tiffany Stratton walks out with the win, looking pretty good along the way. And it was just such a war. It really was. It's not a pretty match. And if you go back and watch it, you're probably going to be like, man, that was rough. And it's because it was, right? Nothing too much more to say about that. Tiffany walks out with the win. And we already mentioned it at the start of the show, but I have to talk about it a little bit more. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. Let's walk through. First and foremost, the entrances. We haven't talked too much about the entrances here tonight, but this entrance from Seth Rollins was fantastic. And I have to point it out. Do you remember when Rock entered at WrestleMania however many years ago with that flamethrower? Do you remember when Rock used to wear like the black with the chain and all that? Rollins has been emulating Rock so much lately. Rollins has been over the top, seriously, looking like he's looking through Rock's Instagram or something and just modeling everything that he does after The Rock. He said best for business, and we'll get into the sellout in just a minute here. If you want to call it a sellout, it might just be a buy-in, or it might just be a blueprint that the architect formed, right? But Rollins coming out with that flamethrower just leads me to believe that there is more going on right here. There's more to this than meets the eye, and we're just at the tip of the iceberg right here. So let's talk more about the matchup, okay? Rollins comes out with that great entrance. He changes into his white gear and gets on down there. Roman has a great looking entrance. Everybody's got their finger in the air. And then CM Punk gets a perfect video package before recapping his entire career, why WrestleMania means so much to him. And just in case you didn't know who CM Punk was, there's a lot of lapsed fans who came back. There's a lot of new fans who never saw him wrestle. So it was a great way to recap everybody, and then to show why WrestleMania means so much to CM Punk. He also got to come out with Livin' in Color, playing his theme song Cult of Personality down to the ring. Very cool moment right there, I'm sure, for everybody in the band. And even the lead singer got a selfie with CM Punk before he walked on down to the ring. But let's get into the match. The match itself lasted about 36 minutes. It was a pretty solid one from start to finish. And as it built, I say pretty solid because it was, you know what? That's a lie. It wasn't just pretty solid. It was fucking amazing. It was awesome is what it was. It single-handedly saved WrestleMania 41 night 1, in my opinion. And that's not me crapping all over the other matches, but the other matches didn't have as much of a WrestleMania feel as this did. And there's no question that if you were waiting around for this main event, they delivered, and you should be walking out happy. Even if you're not a fan of Seth Rollins, even if you're not a fan of Punk or Roman or the turn from Paul Heyman. If you didn't like any of that, you probably still liked the match because it was that good. The amount of callbacks in this thing, like Roman Reigns hitting like Seth Rollins wanted Roman Reigns to hit a shield powerbomb on CM Punk to take that man out, saying that this man doesn't belong. It should be me and you. If we get rid of him, then we can get rid of the cancer in WWE. And Rollins seriously looked like he had Roman Reigns convinced for a minute before Roman Reigns decided to say, fuck that, dude. I'm going to take this in my own hands, a chief without a tribe, and truly powerbomb both of them through a table. He hit Punk through that unbreakable table, and he hit Rollins through that unbreakable table, which is insane because, like, we have not seen those tables break. Really, I don't think we've seen those tables break since they've changed them. I think it was back at the start of the year, right? Nobody has gone through them, and I guess you could make the argument there are a bit of different tables now with them being like, what the fuck is that? A half circle? A crescent. There we go. Circles with Khan. Shapes with Hogan. But I don't think anybody had ever gone through them before. And so it was just wild to actually see somebody go through the table. And the fact that they saved that all the way for WrestleMania, is a cool little tidbit of information that WWE does. Just attention to detail. Those are the things that you gotta pay attention to. So anyways, Roman puts them both through the table, and this is when the drama just started to peak. Paul Heyman decided to go and get a chair, bring the chair into the ring, and throw the chair right at CM Punk. CM Punk stood up. Paul Heyman hit him with a low blow, gave the chair to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns beat the shit out of CM Punk. And then he said, look, my tribal chief, Rollins is over there. You can get your payback. Rollins stood up slowly, his back turned to Roman. Roman with that chair in his hands, ready to do what Rollins did to him all those years ago when the Shield broke up. He goes to swing, and Paul Heyman hits him with a low blow. The tribal chief and Paul Heyman's relationship is done. CM Punk and Paul Heyman's relationship is done. And Rollins is officially a Paul Heyman guy. A shot to the back of Roman Reigns, a stomp, and Rollins walks out of WrestleMania 41, night 1, with Paul Heyman. What did we see? What did we see? Overall, I don't think I loved WrestleMania night 1, but I loved the main event. And there's no question that that was worth the wait. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, everybody. Overall, I can't give this much higher than a 7 out of 10 for WrestleMania, but let me tell you, that main event legitimately saved night 1 of Mania. We'll be back again tomorrow, everyone. Make sure you let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Follow me over on Twitch if you want to continue to follow along with this subathon as we are going for God knows how much longer, at least another 10 hours. We've been live literally since Monday at noon, so hopefully see you over there on Twitch. But before you leave, make sure you leave that like on this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications, and keep coming back every single day because we upload wrestling videos every single day. Brother. Thanks for watching, my friends. We'll see you tomorrow.